Today I want to talk about Russell Westbrook trade rumors with 3 deals on the table to date, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today, I want to talk about Russell Westbrook, who is gonna get traded. Now, this is the move. As much as I don't like it, as much as Thunder fans ain't gonna like it, because while we all like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he also plays point guard. And him making $13 million a year is not the same as Russell Westbrook making 40 this year. And he's on the other side of 30. Blow up the team, start again, rebuild. I hate rebuilds. I want to win. Plain and simple, I want to win. But I also want to talk about these trades here. First, though, shout out to my team, the U.S. Women's National Team, and Megan Rapinoe and Rose Lavelle doing the doggone thing today. This is awesome. World champs here again. Yes! Now, let's talk about, the bad news. Trading Russell Westbrook. So, according to Sam Amick at The Athletic, here are the 3 trades. And again, any trade is a trade if you can make it work with the assets and under the CBA. So this is what is on the table to date. And there's one in particular that I think we're all going to spend a lot of time talking on. But first, there's the one with the Heat that is apparently Goran Dragic, who's on a 1-year, $19.2 million remaining contract, and bringing back Dion Waiters. And there's nothing that I would like less than bringing back Dion Waiters on 2 years, $24.7 million for Westbrook. So they would pair Westbrook with Jimmy Butler, and that would be a fun team in the East, I'm sure. Then there's the Pistons, and this trade is actually something you got to look at with the caveat that I'll get to. Andre Drummond still got 2 years, $55.8 million combined on his with a player option in 2021. And then you got former Thunder guard Reggie Jackson, and that's the caveat, who's on a 1-year, $18 million contract. And then Tony Snell, good player, 2 years, $23.5 million with the player option in 2021. That's worth looking at, really. And then Lord knows what a pairing of James Harden with Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul is going to be, because it's going to be bad chemistry. I mean, it's going to be like bringing Ego the Living Planet to Houston. And I'm here for it because I love watching the NBA, and I love this idea that Daryl Morey just doesn't care about basketball fit. He doesn't care about whether or not these guys need the ball. He's going to have 3 ball-dominant guards and all of his money tied up in 3 guards to try to win a championship with, because Daryl Morey's philosophy is to get as many outstanding elite players on one roster as possible, no matter what position they play. I think Daryl Morey would run 5 guards and be fine with it. Problem is, this doesn't really work in basketball terms, and we saw that last year. And we're seeing it this year. Like, you had a tiff between Chris Paul and James Harden because both of those guys need the ball to do their jobs, and James Harden was basically telling Chris Paul, stand over here in the corner and watch me work. Now you're going to have Russell Westbrook on that squad? Now, I'm here for it. Again, I want to see it, but it's going to be a train wreck. And add to this, the last time that Sam Presti traded superstar players with Daryl Morey, he emptied his pockets, all right? I don't have faith in Sam Presti doing this deal. I don't have faith in getting back value because draft picks don't play the game this year. And as soon as we see a player on a roster whose last name is draft picks, then we can start talking about what draft picks are going to be. Because you traded James Harden for a bunch of picks and only one of them panned out, Steven Adams, right? And he's on the trade block. And I get that Sam Presti has a job to do, but I also get that he's had the job for like 12 years. And he's had a number of great players come through. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Victor Oladipo, Paul George. We can keep going here. Serge Ibaka. And I get that Russell Westbrook ain't the guy to lead the Thunder to a championship. It's just not. You tried to pair Russell Westbrook with Victor Oladipo. It didn't work. Tried to pair Russell Westbrook with Paul George for 2 years. Paul George said, I would rather go play with Kawhi Leonard because Paul George is actually a beta. He's not an alpha. And I don't mean that in the male terms. I mean that Paul George doesn't want to be the guy leading the team. And Russell Westbrook is not a leader. He's the best player on a team. You got to figure out who the leader is on this team again. And I think that's got a lot to do with re-evaluating the Thunder and what the expectations for the Thunder should be going forward. Because, yeah, you could say that when Kevin Durant walked out the door, Russell Westbrook says, I'm going to take this 5-year supermax from you for 5 years, $221 million. You're going to give him the money because there's nothing worse than watching another MVP caliber player walk out the door, especially a guy who had been the first since Oscar Robertson to average a triple-double over the course of one friggin' year, and he did it twice. Now, his jumper is garbage. His free throw shooting has gone into the tank, and he's going to explode. There's not going to be a slow going out of the league for Russell Westbrook. He's just going to be a supernova that burst, and that's going to be that. Now you're building around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Terrence Ferguson, and perhaps what? Maybe Darius Bazley? Jeremy Grant? I mean, that's your core. I don't see that core getting past the first round, and I guess that's kind of the point, right? Because you had Paul Westbrook. You had Paul George and Russell Westbrook couldn't get past the first round. You had Oladipo and Russ Westbrook. That wasn't good either. And if you're the Thunder and you can't make the Western Conference Finals with the caliber that you've had, maybe it's time for a change at general manager, which is kind of what I've been saying, but it seems that Clay Bennett said, no, so this is Sam Presti's team more than it is anybody else's team, because Sam Presti's going to be the only common denominator that is left. Everybody he's drafted will have been moved. They will have left. They would have been moved out of the door. And now you're going to re-up with SGA. SGA is a really good player. He's going to be an all-star in the league, but he's going to be the kind of guy that can lead you to a championship. We'll have to see. And depending on where this dude gets traded, Russell Westbrook that is, we'll see what kind of assets to get back. I know that everybody wants him to go to the Knicks, but the Knicks can't win tomorrow, and they already have R.J. Barrett. So unless you want to play R.J. Barrett as an off guard, that ain't going to work. And I don't think Russell Westbrook wants to go to a place where he's going to have to play as an off guard. I think he wants to run a team. And I think that's why it's also interesting that where it's on the table right now is really Houston. Now, Detroit makes the most sense because you pair him with Blake Griffin, and all of a sudden you got a fun team, but you got an aging team. And they're not going to win next year either. So they'd have to have some moves that have been made. And I'm not even sure that you could trade for a couple bad wings, right? I'm not sure that you could go into Minnesota and come out with Andrew Wiggins. And I wouldn't really want Andrew Wiggins because his PER equivalent is Matt Bonner. I don't really trust Andrew Wiggins in the way that I trust him for that 1 year at Kansas. I don't think he's that good a player. And that's kind of the other thing. Like, what are you going to put together? Who is out there for you to go get that would want to come to Oklahoma City that you could get value for in trading Russell Westbrook? And I still contend that, yeah, one of these draft picks you hope is going to work out in the Paul George trade, and you'll probably get way more picks back. But the other thing about the Houston thing is I'm not sure that they have the assets to send back. Because what are you going to try to do? Send PJ Tucker, Clint Capella, and picks? I mean, that works for the Thunder, but I don't think that's value. It's really going to be interesting to see what, if anything, comes of a trade between Sam Presti and Houston. But right now, if you're asking, I think the best trade on the table is with Detroit. Like, I would like Andre Drummond, and I like him as an offensive player. I like him as an asset. Still would have to move Steven Adams. I think Reggie Jackson is actually a pretty good point guard, but I also get that he's kind of toxic, and he's ball dominant, and he's not really that good. I also get that you would like Goran Dragic from Miami, and I guess there's somebody out there that wouldn't mind Dion Waiters. I would waive Dion Waiters. I can't stand this dude. I don't like that this was the guy that Sam Presti went in the tax for, and I don't understand wanting to bring him back here to a place where he wasn't that good and we don't really like him, and you're also trying to rebuild. And if you're rebuilding, go young. Go young. Go as young as you possibly can, and then build out. Because now it's smoke. So it's going to be testing a lot of folks that call themselves Oklahoma City Thunder fans about whether or not they really want to go to games and watch this team play. I'm going to watch them because that's my team and I like to watch them. But I'm also not very happy about it, and I think that's the point. But let's talk about what you can get for Russ Westbrook and what you can't. And that was the purpose of this video. All right, that is it for me. Doses.